G'day, Flosstube. Anna, aka Moranolis, back with the first of Maynia vlogs for this year. Welcome to everybody who's new. Welcome to anybody who's returning. This month we're doing a series of 4 new starts about once a week. And for the week of that start, I will film little segments, hopefully most days. The first start is predetermined, or was predetermined, and everything after that is up to the whim of the wheel, so long as I agree with the wheel. Spoiler alert, I let the wheel win today. So I was filming yesterday, and I think I mentioned that I was waiting on some fabric to come. Well, it must have come while I was either filming or while I was editing, because by the time I got done editing and went out to the post office, there's my fabric. And most of that fabric was meant to be for Fairy Tale Town, but on a whim, I threw in an extra piece, because you're placing an order. You can't have another, one piece of fabric all on its own. So I threw in a piece of even weave. I don't know, oh yeah, the color's not coming very well. It is a very muted pinks and yellows. Yeah, color's hardly showing at all, but it's gorgeous. And I had a moment of serious indecision because I had planned the start for today, the Bird of Paradise sampler, I'll insert an image, to be on plain white. And I'm looking at this going, it's beautiful, and it'd probably be perfect for that. But obviously this fabric is blank and I've already started. I did decide in the end that I had already cut my white fabric to size. It's better off using it for that and saving this for another day. I don't often stitch on even weaves, except for things like stockings or the full coverage, which don't really. The stocking, I wanted this extra stability in the fabric, and the full coverage, I just don't see the point in wasting nice fabric on those. However, this is what was available on the site, and it looked cool, so I thought, well, we'll try it. I'll find something to stitch on it one day. All right, so onto the site's words. Onto the start we did have, on just plain white. This is, I thought it was 36 count linen, although when I went actually counting my stitches, it's more like 32. So your guess is as good as mine, but it's just plain old linen of one count or another. And that's where we're up to, after, I think I started about 9 or 10 o'clock this morning. So, throughout the course of the day, as my husband hasn't dragged me out to do work in the garden or whatever. At the moment, I'm hiding from mixing up the hydroponic chemicals. All these plans we make is, I'm going to do all the stitching for Maynia, and then he comes back and wants to do yard work. You're interfering. All good. So that's where we've gotten to for today. It is basically a big sign of right in the middle. It says Paradise. You can't see much except a lot of creams and a bit of pooey browns. And I think until the back stitching goes in on those letters, you're not going to see a great deal worth looking at. I did put one little bit of green in there, just so that I had a few stitches that weren't green and pooey brown. Having said that, so this is pretty much the middle, and I went off to the side. That is almost the full width, well, that direction, so half the width of the piece. It's not very wide at all. Of course, it's quite long top to bottom, but left to right, it's not very wide. I think there might be, at least to the sign area, another half a dozen stitches maybe that I'm missing off on that side. So that's where we are at. I will come back tomorrow to show you what I've managed to get done over the course of tomorrow and this evening. So, now like I said, at the start of every week, I'm spinning the wheel, and if I like what the wheel said, I will start that piece. This week, the wheel spun Electra. So you'll have to trust me. Obviously, I didn't spin it live. I wanted to be able to get the stuff out, but I'll put the image in. It spun Electra. So I have most of her floss ready to go, at least the DMC side of it. This has a number 4 glow-in-the-dark optional. I am not doing Kreinik number 4. I just don't like Kreinik, period, if you hadn't worked that out. So I will be using the 928 DMC or something else that I have around that amuses me and looks moonlight. I'm not doing the Kreinik. Plan is to put her on this lovely bit of fabric. This is Under the Sea Fabrics, and where's the name? I thought it was Anubis. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's Anubis. So this is a 32 count linen from Under the Sea Fabrics. So some of you who've been hanging around a while, I would know I ordered about 5 pieces in Under the Sea Fabrics when I was kitting up a couple of pieces. I have now divvied out all but one of those, I think. So clearly I need to go over to more fabric because my stash is looking very, very depleted. But I had a lighter one I debated putting her on, but I thought she'd look nice on the dark. So that's what we will start next week. Stay tuned. All right, I'll see you guys back tomorrow for day 2. See ya. Hey, Flosstube, Sunday, May 2nd, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon-ish. Just stopping back to see the progress for the last 24 hours, which has been amazing. I did get a fair bit of time last night after I got done doing all my chores. And then I've been pretty well left to my own devices all day today. So look at that. It helps. My husband's out. He gets some fancy title. It basically means he's in charge of the sailing activity for the sailing club today, and he's the boss. Officer of the day? I don't know. They give him a title. So he's corralling a lot of little kids, 12, 13 years old, in sailboats. And I can stitch. So we have, you can see I've fleshed out the edge of that sign, which says Paradise when it's all done, although it's highly unreadable in those sort of poo brown colors. I have reached this top bit is the other extreme. So clearly this piece is not that wide. I did a double check of my how big the stitches per inch I'm getting are. It's definitely a 32 count, not a 36 that I thought it was, which makes me wonder, because I'm sure I cut this off a piece that was, I had a label that said 36. I need to go back and check that now, because this is clearly 32. So anyway, that's a bit of a sidetrack. I essentially got really tired of dealing with pooey browns, and so I pushed down a little bit into these leaves. In fact, this section here marks the end of where those leaves go, and then it moves into flowers across the bottom. I think I will actually follow that up, because this is where all the bird of paradise flowers and stuff are. And they're the reason, you know, I wanted to do this piece. So I will move up that direction. But as it stands, I've been doing a little bit of something more interesting, and then I go do a couple of threads of the poo browns. Then I do something interesting, try and finish up that bit. But yeah, so looking forward to hopefully maybe next time you see this, we'll get some of the first bright colors in the bird of paradise. have always loved the bird of paradise flower. You know, it's not something we see much of in Wisconsin. When I first started visiting my husband's family, his grandmother had this massive bird of paradise in her front yard. I was so jealous. I now have a few little bird of paradise things in my backyard, but they're not blooming. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a bloom on them yet. I'll put in a photo. There's two different species. That's why there's two small ones and two large ones. They're, particularly the large ones, are big and green and healthy, but I'm just not seeing much in the way of flowers. It's a bit sad. Anyway, it's all a bit of a sidetrack. So, yeah, that's where we're at. I think basically that that'll be the end of it. I'll try and finish out that little bit of leafage, and then we'll push up that way, see what we can get for something different. Okay, see you tomorrow. G'day, Flosstube. It's about 2 o'clock-ish, May 3rd. We're doing well on this whole checking in everyday business, but today's a public holiday, so it's the last of my easy days. Tomorrow, the real world hits again, and we gotta go to work. So reasonably good progress again. I went and I backstitched the word paradise because I got so tired of looking at that muddy brown. Looks ever so much better now. So all of that, the creamy bits of the flag are all finished now, and the word is all backstitched. Obviously there's a little bit of the bamboo frame and stuff yet to go in on that side. And the top part of the bamboo frame's not entirely finished yet either. I think the bulk of this leafage, might be a couple stitches down there, but the bulk of it's done. And I've obviously started working up into the greenery. I think as far as next steps, I will try and finish out the bamboo frame on the signage and continue pushing up the greenery. This is one of those pieces that's going to have acres and acres of backstitching, so I expect I'll try and do a bit of the backstitch as I go. So if I finish this bamboo frame, then I can at least start backstitching it so that I'm not left at the very end with so much backstitching all at once. So that's where we're at. I will be back to check in hopefully tomorrow. G'day, Flosstube, doing something a bit different today. I'm still in town waiting for a kid to finish sailing. So we're doing our update in the middle of town. In fact, can you see the beach? Can you see the island? For those of you who follow me regularly, you'll know my white wine piece. That's the island for that piece. So we're down on the strand waiting for the kids to finish packing up their sailboats, and I thought I will take a minute if I can figure out how to flip this camera and give you an update. But I think I'm going to have to stop the video to flip the camera. Alright, see you back in a second. Alright, stitching on the fly. So we have basically added a bit, I'm pretty sure that bird of paradise is new. I don't think you could see any of that before. And I've also started filling in some of the leaves. Excuse me. Obviously I haven't been in and filled up the edges of the bamboo yet, so we'll need to get back on that shortly. This, you can see the start of this, it'll be a diamond shape, and all of that is 1/1 stitching in the center of that. So I'm feeling like for the purposes of Maynia, I'm going to skip that, because with the chatelaines I have had just about enough 1/1 for the time being. In any case, see you tomorrow. G'day, Flosstube. It's Wednesday, March something or other, roughly 5 o'clock. Abysmal day stitching yesterday because, as you saw, I was stuck in town all night. I haven't even looked at that footage I took yesterday. Hopefully you can see something because it was getting quite dark. So about the only extent of what we have done in the last 24 hours was I decided since I was getting bugger all stitching time, I was at least going to do the few stitches I did in bright colors. So there's some red and some purple, and I expect there's actually some more fill-in the greens. I think that little bit of leaf is new. It's not exactly a revolutionary amount of stitching. And unfortunately, I don't expect the next 24 hours is going to be any better. But I'm going to stop recording and go start stitching so that hopefully there's something to show you. All right, see you tomorrow. G'day, Flosstube. It's Friday. Missed checking in yesterday, but you didn't miss out on a whole lot. I think I managed about 2 threads for the entire day, so it wasn't much progress. It was a belated Sweet 16 birthday dinner for my daughter, so sorry, cross-stitching and Flosstube miss out. But I'm back today, had a more productive day today. Spent the morning sitting in the hospital waiting room, so got a fair bit of stitching done there. That's where we're up to for this last update for this Maynia start. I spent a fair bit of time today filling in the last of these leaves. I have zero doubt I missed the odd little 1-2 stitches here and there, but it is what it is. Trying to finish out those leaves, obviously pushed a few more up. I think I've got most of those petals from that flower done. Obviously still a bit to go in there, and I've actually done the bulk of the frame, although I haven't started any of the back stitching. There's a little bit over on the end pieces that hasn't been done in that bamboo yet. So it's actually quite amazing when you don't get sidetracked by projects every 5 minutes and have a couple of good stitchy days in there. You can make amazing progress just in 1 week. So, you know, for a Maynia start, I reckon that is pretty excellent going. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the moment, but I'm off to the community center in a few minutes, so I don't think I'll get much stitching, you know, maybe another thread or 2 tonight, but that'll be about the extent of it. I will, if I have anything to show you the last little bit of progress in my next video when we start Electra. So, yeah, that's a bit exciting. Tomorrow's new start, but it's also market day at the local community center, so poor Electra is going to get shafted on her very first day of stitching, and let's hope the work week is as nice to her as it was for this piece. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you all next week. See ya.